Hello everyone, my name is Yuga Kane. I'm a student of Natyalankar Mrs. Shraddha Pede. Before I actually start talking, first of all, I would like to say a big thank you to Shraddha Dai. It is entirely because of her that I'm here today, and I am not just talking about this particular lecture, but my entire dance journey. Secondly, I want to say that I'm really grateful to Laya Art Foundation and Sheetal Tai as well as the entire committee for providing me with this wonderful opportunity, and I'm nothing but privileged for this. The topic that I would be engaging in today is evolution of Laya and Taal. Before I actually get into the topic, I think it's really important for us to understand the relation between Taal, Matra and Laya. The interpretation that I would be talking about is really basic, but I think it can help us get certain things straight. So I want every one of us to imagine a straight line. There are certain points plotted on it, and the gap between any two consecutive points remains the same. So if we are to talk about this in the context of Kathak, the line would be one single avartan of a Taal. The points that we have plotted would be the matras, and the gap that remains constant between any 2 points would be nothing but the Laya. If I am to explain what Taal, Matra and Laya is in a strictly technical sense, I would say that Taal is a set of rules or a structure which every performer has to adhere to. And then a Matra would be a single unit or a single step, and Laya would be the speed in which the matras progress towards eventually landing on the sum. Taal and Laya are really very complicated topics, and if we are to study them in detail, it's really important for us to understand their origin or how they came into being in the first place. So firstly, I would like to talk about Taal. There is a Sanskrit shlok which goes, Takarah Shankarah Prokto, Lakarah Parvati Smritah, Shiva Shakti Samayogat, Tala Ityabhidiyate. This means that the letter T in Taal is taken from Lord Shankar's Tandav, while the L is taken from Goddess Parvati's Lasya Nritya. It used to be said that when Shankar and Shakti danced together, it gave rise to Taal. Then there's yet another legend which says that when Lord Shankar danced the Tandav Nritya, the sound that his Damru made, or the beats that his Damru created, started acting as a measuring unit, which later developed as Taal. But then again, these instances or these myths talk about the mythological origin of Taal. But Taal actually had a very natural origin. It is not an artificially created concept. Taal developed through a lot of evolution through history, and it is believed that Taal as we know it today developed from the concept of chanda, or the musical meter. I would just take a few seconds to explain what musical meter is. I think everyone here must be knowing, but when we recite a Sanskrit shlok, it has a musical meter which indicates where we are supposed to take pauses or where we are supposed to break the line. That is the musical meter, and it is believed that Taal developed through this concept itself. Now, Samaved includes an entire chapter which is dedicated to musical meter. Samaved also has a system of hand gestures which were used to keep a track of time while reciting something. Now, it is said that Taal developed from this itself. And while I was researching for it, I came across a very fascinating piece of research by Mr. Louis Rowell, who is a professor of music and who has specialized in Indian classical music. He tries to answer the question how Taal originated, and he says that in the Vedic era, vast amount of literature was generally transferred from one generation to other orally. It was never actually written down. And make no mistake, this was not some small amount of literature. This extended more or less to thousands of pages long. Because it was so long, there was always a huge margin for error in it. And thus, what they started doing was, they started having fixed patterns for recitation. What used to happen because of this is, the person in front quickly could understand if the person who was narrating it was going wrong, and this entirely eliminated the risk of errors. It is said that this pattern of recitation, this pattern of structured recitation, was nothing else but Taal. Moving ahead, Taal and Rag were not actually considered to be different till the 16th century. It is after the advent of Islam in India that they developed distinctly. And the Taal and the subsequent developments that took place in North India came to be known as Hindustani classical music, whereas the one that developed in South India came to be known as Carnatic form of music. Now I would like to move to the second concept, that is lay. Lay in a layman language, or rhythm or speed, is an equal distribution of time within the Taal. And just as I said before, even this concept has developed very naturally. When I say it has developed naturally, it means that there are numerous examples around us where we see lay. One of the most common examples can be a clock. If we consider one single hour of a clock, that would be 1 hour turn of the Taal, and the minutes would be the matras. Now, any two consecutive minutes will always have a gap of 60 seconds in between them. This 60 seconds are going to remain constant throughout, and this is nothing but the lay. It is the speed in which the minutes progress. So in Kathak, it is the speed on which the matras progress. On the basis of the speed, lay, there are three different kinds of lays, that is Vilambit, Madhya and Dhruta. However, there used to be a lot of confusion surrounding Madhya lay. Some scholars used to say that it is more closely related to Dhruta lay, whereas some said that it is more closely related to Vilambit lay. Thus, many scholars and many musicians go for 7 different kinds of lay, that is Ati Vilambit, Vilambit, Madhya Vilambit, Madhya, Madhya Dhruta, Dhruta and Ati Dhruta. Now specifically speaking about Kathak, again lay and Taal are the very backbone of it. Just graceful hand movements or graceful hand gestures or leg gestures doesn't mean Kathak. It becomes Kathak. It takes the form of Kathak when we pair it with the perfect combination of Taal and lay. And it is these two concepts that infuse beauty in the entire performance, right from something as intricate and delicate as Kasak Masak to something very strong like a paran. To conclude, I don't think I need to emphasize on the importance of lay and Taal, and this is because I don't think any one of us can imagine what Kathak, or for that matter Indian classical music, would have been without lay and Taal in it. Probably it would just have been a group of bowls and group of choreographed steps on it, but it is actually the lay and Taal that breathe essence into what we dance, sing or play. And it is undoubtedly because of these two concepts that we see Indian performing arts in the way that they are today. Thank you.